And welcome back to Start Helsinki's Startup Horror Stories. Here we are with Roman Shamray, the CEO and founder of M8S. Please, Roman, welcome. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. Yeah.
Please introduce and give us a background of your experience and your story with.
Right. So currently I'm a co-founder of M8S, and it is a one big horror story on itself. So, I mean, it's a great concept now. We have a co-working and community for entrepreneurs in Helsinki, and it's a physical space where we now. I hope you put those kind of, videos showing the physical space while I speak. But then we started as a big mission. We wanted to open a venture studio to build startups and then run the, technology-related investments and then help build teams and meanwhile also to invest into startups of Helsinki region. That's what we've started, but then many things go wrong, and then now we're here as a co-working and community of entrepreneurs. And then maybe background about myself. Apart from M8S, I'm running also several other projects. I have a podcast, Get Cracking Podcast and YouTube channel. Everybody check it out. And then also I'm doing some business consultancy and coaching for random organizations. Yeah, bunch of things.
Working with partners is an integral part of running a business, though they can at times turn frightening. What example can you give of when a partnership went wrong or perhaps even turned into a nightmare?
This is really a hard question because also I don't want to put the people on the spot, right? So I cannot be like super verbal because, we live a life when the relationship are like the biggest currency. So you don't want to just burn the bridges. And I'd like to say that there's frequently people don't match. And this same happened, for example, in my previous venture. We didn't match with my, co-founder in the venture that we've been doing, that we had a rather similar skills and skill sets, and we had rather similar views on problems. So this is how we kind of got united. But then running a business with this person was a bit complicated because basically we've been too similar. So we would be responsible for the similar areas of business, which is in my case is like how you structure, how do you build the business processes, how do you take care of sales and marketing wing of the business, right? And then basically another person was doing the same. So then we've started on a high note. We've been super happy of doing it, but then in the end we're doing the same thing. And then the business is the combination of different things that needs to all unite together to provide actual value to customer. And didn't happen in our case, so then this is one of the horrifying.
So what was the conclusion of this?
We finished like the company. So we've sat down, we've been adults. We've sat down, we discussed it, we've recognized it, and we understood that. So we are in good terms with this person kind of still now because life continues, and I can happily imagine myself calling him and asking for advice on something. Yeah.
Oh, so a horror story but turned out in a happy ending, I suppose.
I mean, it's not a happy ending because we didn't. The business was shut.
Sure, in the business side, of course.
Like in the business side, it's like shut. We every time you perceive. You go for some venture, it is time and effort and then we've been invested into this project and then it didn't go anywhere, right? So we needed to close the venture, close this business and stopped operating. So it is a horror story and it's unsuccessful. But then because we are adults, we finished as on the good terms with each other. So the personal relationship didn't suffer. Yeah.
Up to this point, what have you learned about choosing the right partner for M8S? Additionally, how would you best navigate, for instance, if a prospect finds partnership with you to be ghastly?
So in terms of M8S, it is a really interesting story, and I think the reason why original idea of M8S was failing because we didn't have correct team in place. So we had I was there as more of an operational partner, to be involved. Then we had a couple investors, and then we had a back office partner who would also finance and taxation and legal things within Finland. But then what we understood that we didn't have enough know-how. We didn't know how you collect bigger fund. How do you collect the syndicate of angel investors? And that's what would be needed. We didn't know how to maybe take a step two, and then we didn't have resource to figure this out. Or the investors who've been backing up this venture, they've been not ready to commit for the step 2, which is how you need to spend money on the marketing of the space, to building the funnel. How do you attract the startups to go through the funnel? How do you close the investments? So we had money for investment, but we didn't have money to build the funnel.
I see.
So then it is resulted to maybe partly where are we now, that we are not able to build a venture studio, and then we needed to pivot. So getting back to the partnership, so then I would consider that our partnership for original Made story was completely unsuccessful because we overestimated our own what do we bring on the table. So we would need stronger partners and more value on the table to actually kickstart this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that naturally comes involved with this is, an element of humility involved with the concept of the company and all this sort of stuff. It's good that you're able to do that.
Yeah, naturally, for Mates, it was we've been working, so I was working with those partners already. And then there was this idea actually from the investors of this space. It was the idea, and we just spoke. We were yes, cool, let's do it, let's run it. And so, you work with people you already know. So we didn't build a separate team of co-founders to found Mates startup studio. We started building from what we have, right? And then we have understood okay, maybe I am not strong enough as an operational partner of this kind of space, yet. And I'm not speaking about the co-working, I'm speaking about the startup studio, venture studio, which is that concept. Yeah.
One of your statements is immigrant to innovator. What was your greatest attribute to success, and how does it relate to your origins?
First of all, I think I'm really far from success. I'm trying to be humble, and also I actually had a lot of failure for the past year, and I needed to kind of get out from certain projects and kind of refocus and kind of start other projects. But then, as an immigrant who I am, so I moved from Russia for 11 years ago to Finland, and I am in a different condition comparing to local people, and I need to learn what is this situation. So I need to understand okay, there are certain doors will not be open for me. So should I knock them or should I not? This is question I have. And then certain doors, some traditional industries that are, just only Finnish people work there. So maybe I cannot get in there. I shouldn't maybe even trying, right? Or I should learn how do I partner up, or how do I have a Finnish partner for certain ventures. So I think this is the biggest learning, is that, okay, I understand who I am, where I come from, what is my limitations, and how the market operates, and then I play the game. So I play by the rules of the market.
When working with a diverse group of people, how do you unite them for a common vision in the company?
Yeah, so I think the common vision, or I have a tendency to believe, maybe let's start this way. I have a tendency to believe that the common vision is the a North Star for any background and any belonging of a human being. So what I feel is that doesn't matter where are we from, how are we, who we are, what actually we are doing. If you have a vision and if you structure this vision, then we all can be combined and then go towards this vision. So then if we speak about business and the company mission and vision, so if you clarify it, and then doesn't matter who you have in your teams. So it is maybe your duty as an entrepreneur to build diverse teams, because this is proven to have actually, it is better to have diverse teams than non-diverse teams. But I don't think it has any impact on terms of how we go together towards vision. So you work, you clarify this vision, you make this idea crystal clear for everybody, and then we work towards that. Yeah.
Concise. If you could go back in time and give yourself advice or a warning about building a startup, what would it be?
I would, few things come to my mind straight away. First of all, Finland is really tough for building startups. And let me explain. Finland is really easy to start building, and Finland is really hard to actually build something. The main reason for that, there are just not many customers. And then customers who are existing, they are like, here we come to my challenges as an immigrant, then, they buy from other Finnish people, for example. And this is completely normal because if you go to another geography, kind of same patterns repeat. So then I would maybe warn myself that like, yes, you're cool, but keep in mind that the market rules are there for a reason. Like, you cannot just overcome like easily all of them. So be conscious and, it is hard. Is one thing. And a second thing that I would also tell to myself and to anyone who is, starting a startup, build a business. Don't build a startup, build a business. Think about the business model, think about the incomes and expenses, think about how you're gonna sell. Remember that if you don't like to sell, find the person who loves to sell or learn how to sell, learn how to calculate the expenses, and then go for that. And I'm not stopping you from becoming an entrepreneur, but I'm just kinda telling you that think 2-3 steps ahead. Like, startups are all fun and giggles until you need to break even. Until, investors come and say, hey, you're not gonna get any money until you show us profitability.
I fully agree, yeah.
And now we all speak about the traction numbers. And the reason we speak about those is because I think our community failed a bit to incorporate these business aspects in terms of building a startup. So startup, it's when it's starting, but then it needs to become a business. So that's the highlight of my thinking.
What were some of the most challenging moments in the early stages of developing Mates?
I think we are still super early. So what happens if we think of a timeline? A bit more than half a year ago, we've soft launched Mates as a venture studio, and then we soft launched. We collected all the feedback. We tried to get the model correctly. Then also we spoke more with the people who've been participants of that or others, or venture studios, founders, and then we understood that we are not there. And then we took a strategic pause, and then we canceled the idea. And now since August, I've recovered the idea under the new branding. So then now Mates is only 3 months old. So the new Mates, so co-working and then an entrepreneurial community is 3 months old. And we are far from break even. And we are in really tough market of co-workings because there's lots of space available in Helsinki. So, wherever you see lots of empty spaces, lots of free spaces, lots of great spaces. So it is a really tough market. So then our value proposition is a community, and then it's hard and long to build a community. So then I need to prove that, okay, we are cool, join our journey, be with us, and then while you're with us, you also get a certain value from what we are doing, and then we all are growing. So, and then those topics are proven on practice, and then practice takes time, and practice, I mean practical aspects. So as soon as if you come in, join this co-working, then you see another member, and then we don't really have many members now, right? And then somebody needs to help somebody to get their business to the next stage. And only then we have a use case of, okay, community actually helped. So, but it's working. I'm working a lot with my network. I'm helping everybody around. We have events, we have certain mechanisms, we have several residents. So then it's a lot of work ahead.
I see. What is the largest sacrifice you've made for the sake of Mates up to this point?
I think time. Time is the largest sacrifice. And I think especially the initial combination of Mates when we've been opening a venture studio. So it required for me to shift my focus from some another project that I was working on, because I've seen that this would be my, actually what I'm made for. And then I've committed to it, and then we've kickstarted it, but then we've closed it. So then this was the whole big sacrifice story.
What would be the most essential part of your career or education in the past that you have applied to as the leader of a startup?
I think in my case is that maybe, can we call it diverse background? That I've done really different things. So I've been doing some helpers jobs, and then I was in tourism as a like a cashier. Then I was as a tour guide, and I was like a snowmobile instructor. Then I was working in the refurbishment industry. Like I was working for Swappia for quite a while, and I was taking also different position in Swappia. So I was helping open a factory in Tallinn for Swappia, or also building the business processes for supply chain. And also I was doing a bunch of team leadership roles when I've needed to hire and fire people and like work a lot with, human capital. So I think for starting a business, this diverse and different background is really helpful. And also what it taught me is to think fast and learn. So this is
adaptability. I think
adaptability and then quick learning. So recommend it to everybody if you're dreaming of starting the business or starting a startup, get different experience under your hood.
What would you recommend starting with to those who are changing their entire field or profession to that of business?
I think the easiest path I see that I didn't take. I think it's so when you give advice, it's so easy and then you don't even follow yourself. I think so. The easiest path I see is actually to become a master of something and then change to the entrepreneurship. There is a great book called Outliers, and where in one of the paragraphs there, it actually describes that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master in anything you do. And then in the book, actually, he breaks down that Bill Gates have 10,000 hours before he became a Bill Gates, we know. Then the Beatles, they actually had 10,000 hours of performance in Hamburg, Germany, with doing jazz and stuff before they became the Beatles, right? So that's what I see as maybe one of the easiest paths to entrepreneurship and startup world, that you take your discipline, you put 10,000 hours into that, you learn the best, you become the master, and you are the master of this craft. And then you build business on top of it, because business topics as P&L and taxation, build how to hire, those are complicated things, but you can figure them out, right? But then if you have this backbone of you are the master of something, then it's a great boost. Yeah.
Insightful. As Halloween creeps nearer, we must embrace our fears. So I ask you, if Mates was a horror movie, what would it be called? Have a good think.
Maybe something like Dead Born.
Dead Born?
Yeah, or Born Dead. Because again, we are speaking about the original Mates story, which was the startup venture studio, that it was born Dead because we soft launched it. We didn't do any big, PR marketing release.
Do you mind explaining what soft launching means, just very, very quickly?
So we didn't have, a huge marketing campaign of okay, this is the Mates, this is our funnel, you should come in here, this is our processes, this is our structure, this is why we exist, this is our vision, this is our team. So we didn't have any of that. So soft launch, it means that we started it slowly on top of our existing network. So we've been inviting and combining and doing some kind of work with the people we already know, or we've been searching for people that needed to be in a certain place and then running. So then if we work with startups, that we were okay, we scouted a startup, we put it through part of our process that we thought is essential, and then we would make our outcomes. So that's what I call it soft launch. And so that's what we've done, but then they were never a big launch. There was almost never a public thing that, okay, this is Mates, this is exactly what is our service, this is why we exist, that's what we do, because we took a pause and then we closed the initiative. So
Dead Born.
Yeah, Dead Born. So it was born as Mates startup venture studio, but then it was a strategic pause. And then now it is something completely different. So Mates now is has almost nothing to do with Mates back then.
I see, it'd be reborn, unborn, dead born.
Now we have a new story of Mates. So now now I'm writing a new story of mates. How far it will go, like, I don't know. And then also it is not my kind of primary focus because we like the space, we like the community, but then also I'm involved in other projects. So we will see how it will be.
Above all else, what advice would you offer to our viewers on how to best avoid your horrific experiences as well as how to best get to your successful ones?
Yeah, I'll be saying such a cliche things now. You know, you fail fast and you fail forward. Like that's what I say. And then you don't avoid your terrific experience. You kind of go into them. You jump into. You get this experience. You learn it. You live it. You learn it. And then hopefully you're reborn. Hopefully you have something new, something great coming out after this experience. So this is what happened kind of with mine. I had a like bunch of terrifying experience that we didn't speak about, that I had like probably like 5 other startups that never really succeeded. And then also I had some other maybe kind of challenging situations in my life. But then what is the common thing from all of them is that I've learned something, I took something out from there, and then now I'm more equipped for actually going towards the success. That's what I feel. So fail fast, fail forward. This is.
I see. Okay, well, thank you very much, Roman, for your participation here. I'd like to thank our viewers for watching as well, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.